Hello everyone, my name is Kelsounds, and today I want to show you guys how I mix my track from the intro. So I've been recently looking into ring mod sidechaining. As you can see, I have some examples here, and I also ran into some issues with this that I want to show you guys. But before we get into that, ring modulation basically works by carving a space into your bass group, making room for your kick. So it does this with phase cancellation, and yeah, it combines your kick and your bass, or if you have a kick snare as well, it'll be like superimposed, combining the signals instead of doing complete volume ducking when you're sidechaining. So as you can see, if I zoom into our kick and our bass group, there's not really any sound in the beginning of our sidechain bass group because I did some volume ducking with a utility to make room for the transient, but the rest of the signal, it's being ring mod sidechained. But as you can see, if I zoom into the waveforms, when our kick has the most energy, which is above the zero crossing, so whenever it goes to 1 or -1, that's where our kick signal is present. And so if we look at our bass group and the phase of our kick, when it's at 1 here, the bass group is as close as it can get to the zero crossing, so it silences the bass group. And the same thing is pretty much happening all throughout the wave of the kick. So when it's at -1 or close to -1, the bass group gets close to the zero crossing at this point or around here, and then our bass group signal is coming through when the kick gets close to the zero crossing here, and so it's allowing our bass group to be present. But yeah, it's basically carving a way for our kick. And like I said before, I did a little bit of volume ducking with a utility to make room for the transient, so that's why our signal looks like that, because there's no volume at the start of our signal. But I want to show you something interesting. So both of these are at... Let me pull up the levels. If I click on the bass group and we look at the level meter right here, as you can see, it's hitting 0 dB. And if we look at our kick, the kick is also hitting 0 dB. And so when we combine the signals, though, when I did it with the kilohertz ring mod to do sidechaining, it shouldn't go above 0 dB. So this is our combined group right here for both the signals together. And as you can see, it's going above 0 dB by at least like a decibel, 1.34. And it stays at a consistent level, but it's still going above 0 dB. And I don't know if this is because the kilohertz ring mod has like latency, or if it's because ring modulation is non-linear, or if because Ableton, I think Ableton's grid utilizes oversampling, which of course oversampling messes with the phase of your sound because it uses filters for oversampling, and filters mess with the phase of your sound. So I couldn't figure out a way to like kind of compensate for this, and it honestly was driving me nuts for a while because I was like trying to find a way where like this wasn't going to be a problem. And there is a solution, and it's free, and it is by someone named Justdanpo. They made a plugin specifically for ring modulation sidechain, and so I put it inside of this group, Ring Mod Sidechain plugin, and it's as easy as literally just dropping the plugin inside of your bass group and then coming over here to the sidechain option of the plugin and clicking on the signal to modulate your bass group. And so I want to open this up and show you what's going on in here, and I'm also just going to zoom into this plugin by a whole lot just so you can see the waveform. So yeah, this is our bass sound. I went ahead and deleted the utility that was here as well, just because it was ducking, and I don't want that to happen. But anyways, this is our bass signal. I'm going to turn this off without any sidechain. And then if I turn on our ring mod sidechain, as you can hear, it has this fluttering effect because the kick is modulating the bass signal, and this is what it looks like. Oh, it made it small again. Let me zoom in to this so you can see the waveform. And so ring modulation works by multiplying signals together. This is our kick being inverted in phase, and then it's being multiplied with our bass group. And so a negative multiplied by a positive is going to equal negative, which basically cancels out the sound of our kick, making room for our kick. And so that's what's happening here. It's basically flipping the polarity of our kick signal with our bass signal. And then, of course, together, it sounds like this. And this is perfect when I look inside the ring modulated sidechain group. As you can see, it is not going above 0 dB. And like I said before, I don't really know why, but I think maybe the kilohertz ring mod might introduce a little bit of latency, which was causing my bass signal to not properly match up with my kick signal. And so, of course, when I play them together, again, as you can see, it's going above 0 dB. By 1.34 or 1.22. But since the ring mod sidechain plugin is specifically made for this sidechaining method, so I don't think it introduces any kind of latency or messes with the phase of our signal, and so it should match up perfectly. And as you can see, the bass is at 0 dB, and the kick is also at 0 dB, and they work perfectly well together. And I also want to show you there is no effects on this group, so no limiter, no clipper, or anything like that. It's just the two signals both hitting 0 dB. So you should be able to find this plugin on Google if you just type in RMSC plugin, and this has come in clutch so much and has drove me away from madness because I could not figure out for like 3 days straight what was going on with my signal, and I was like, okay, could it be this, could it be that, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and I went nuts for a little bit there, but you know, we got it. So yeah, if you're using any other ring mod out there, like a kilohertz ring mod, or I think M Wave Shaper, or not M Wave Shaper, M Ring mod, I think is what it's called. I've never used the plugin, but I know it's a popular one out there. Just be careful that there isn't any sort of like latency or filters being added to the effect, because some plugins might have them inside of their devices. And there might not be an option to like turn off oversampling or to get rid of any other effects that are going to mess with the phase of your signal, because this is a phase cancellation sidechain method. And of course, any little thing can just throw it off and completely make your signal either boost in sound or just not fit well together. So yeah, if anyone else was having trouble with this as well, I'd like to know down in the comments below. Let me know how you got along with other ring mod plugins. And before I end the video, I want to show you how I used to do it before finding out about the plugin. So I'm going to take our bass signal and our kick. So this is our bass signal right here. I'm just going to rename this bass signal, and then I'm just going to rename this kick, and this is what our kick sounds like. Pretty beefy, has quite a bit of bass inside. All right, so the first thing I want to do is make our kick go into negative values only. So I want it to go below the zero crossing, not above. So to do that, I'm going to use a kilohertz shaper. And I'm just going to make sure everything's snapped to grid. Right click this middle point right here and turn off smooth. So that way there is no sort of shaping going on. And I'm going to turn off DC filter, because if that's on, it'll just center our kick, making it a bipolar signal, and that's not what we want. We want to make it a unipolar signal. Now, I'm just going to record this into a separate group. I'm going to rename this negative kick. Okay, so just bear with me. I'm going to turn off my mic, so that way when I arm the audio track, my voice won't come through. Just a little heads up, sorry if there is buzzing. My mic is a little messed up, so if that's what you're hearing, it's just my mic. It's not from inside my DAW. I gotta buy a new mic. Okay, so this is what our negative value, oopsies, robots. This is what our negative value kick sounds like. So it sounds a little funny right now, but this is what's going to be modulating our bass group. I'm going to come back into our kick group and turn off the shaper, because we're going to use it again. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this utility as well. To do this modulation, I'm going to use kilohertz ring mod, and then I'm going to make sure it is set to input 3 and 4, which is the external, so it can be sidechained. And so now I'm going to come over here to sidechain where it says no input, and I'm going to click on our negative kick group. And so this negative kick track is going to be multiplying our bass signal, which is then going to give us a polarity flip signal of our kick. So I'm going to insert another audio track and rename this polarity flip kick. Before I record this, I forgot I need to turn off this utility. I don't know why I have this on here. It's doing sidechaining with gain, but make sure you don't have any sort of effects on there. So I just went ahead and deleted that. Now I'm going to go ahead and record it. Okay, perfect. Now I am just going to make sure this is back at the main, and then I'm going to turn off our ring modulation, kilohertz ring mod, because we are going to combine this polarity flip kick with our bass signal. And I want to show you what's going on here. If we zoom in, it's basically inverted the phase of what our bass signal is doing up here. So the polarity flip is what is going to carve space for our kick signal. So I'm going to insert another audio track and call this combine. And so if I solo both of these and I play this back, it'll have this sort of flutter effect. And now I'm going to send both of these tracks to the combine audio track down here. Okay, perfect. Now we have our combined signal. Just going to go ahead and make sure these tracks are being sent back to the main. And then I'm going to I'm going to make sure these tracks are off, and the only tracks I want playing is my kick signal, and make sure there's no sort of effects on it. So we just want our regular kick and our bass signal, which has basically been carved by the polarity flip track here, so that way we have room for our kick. And so now if I play both of these tracks, I'm just going to group it. I'm going to open up our meters here. So it's called 30 group. So this group right here, it should hopefully not peak too much in volume because we have made space for our kick. So let's play this back. And perfect, it stays at an almost consistent volume. It's still going above 0 dB, so you could still do it this way, but it's not gonna be like perfect. So it's not like a foolproof method. Even though it does still work pretty good, I would just recommend turning down the volume by like -1 or something. So I turned down both tracks to -1.5, and it stays below 0. Oh, okay, maybe not. So by 0.08. But as you can see, it pretty much stays at a good consistent volume. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend this way of doing it just because it takes forever to route, and there is a way of making a track or a Ableton rack for this, so it's all routed automatically, but I haven't figured out how to do that. I think Virtual Riot did make a video covering how he did that. But yeah, the way I would recommend is downloading the Ring Mod Sidechain plugin. So not only is it free, but it's going to help sidechain your kick or your snare, or if you're sidechaining hats even. Maybe with certain sounds you'll get a little bit more distortion, so just a little heads up if you're sidechaining like your snare or your hats. I'd only recommend this on like more aggressive tracks, like the song in the intro. It's a little bit more aggressive, like dubstep style or drum and bass, even maybe future bass. So that kind of genre of music, just because it still does have that sort of like distortion effect to it. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show you guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think. I'd love to hear your feedback. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you in the next one. Adios.